This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911, running on the river.
The worst part was not knowing what was wrong with him at the time.
A wave runner accident leaves a boy in critical condition.
My concern was to get him to the hospital alive.
Plus,
just hold up. Give me all your money.
An armed robber.
He did shoot about 3 times.
Leads police on a wild chase.
This person is willing to use the gun that they're carrying.
Police! Put the gun down!
On Rescue 911.
When 18-year-old Alex Bayless collided with his friend Eric Frensdorf while riding their wave runners, Alex was left unconscious, floating face down on the river. A group of kids who knew them saw the accident from their boat and rushed over to help.
Grab my hand.
We knew we had to be careful with his head, his back. We didn't know what was wrong.
Be careful of his head.
We just wanted to be as careful as we could to not hurt him more than he was, because we knew he was very hurt and very on the verge of life and death.
While Eric went to find a phone to call for help, Cameron drove Alex to shore.
Alex was all blue. He could barely breathe. He was making choking noises. The worst part was not knowing what was wrong with him at the time.
When we continue.
He had a soft spot in the back of the head. That indicated to me that he had a skull fracture, and my concern was to get him to the hospital alive.
Rescue units with the Clarkston Fire Department were dispatched to the scene, including paramedic Jerry Altmiller.
Let's get his his left pupil blown.
Alex was having some problems breathing.
Let's go ahead and get this neck brace.
And he had a soft spot in the back of the head, which usually indicates that there's been a skull fracture.
Just hang on to him and don't let him.
My concern was to get him to the hospital alive, because I didn't think he was going to make it.
18-year-old Alex was admitted to St. Joseph Regional Medical Center in extremely critical condition. His parents, Bob and Joanne, were notified of his accident.
It was just like a brick hitting me. And I cried all the way up to the hospital, Lord, please save my son. That's all I could think of was pray for help.
Neurosurgeon T. William Hill was called in to treat Alex.
It was evidence from the CT scan that he had suffered a very serious head injury. It was impossible to tell at that point in time whether he would wake up, or if he did wake up, whether he'd be left with a serious deficit.
Just before Alex went into surgery, his parents got to see him.
It was like I couldn't believe what I was going through. This morning, he was with us, and now he's laying here. It just can't be true. One of the nurses came up and asked us if we had any other family, any sisters or brothers, and we told them yes, and they told us that we should probably get a hold of them. And at that time, I knew it was really bad. And that we might lose him.
Following surgery, Alex remained in a coma.
It's hard to be able to tell a family that their loved one's not improving. Over the first 5 or 6 days, he developed a serious pneumonia. We noted subsequently that he was not moving his right side, and these all worried his parents. Each time we brought him more bad news. Until we see that come down, we have to leave the monitor in place.
I didn't care if he was paralyzed, if he couldn't speak, if he just lived. I wanted him to wake up. I wanted him to look at me. And he just laid there, you know? And I just kept talking to him and wanting some kind of reaction.
I'll miss you. And then it was just a waiting game. It was just numb and helplessness. It's the only thing I can say to describe the feeling.
I remember going there and seeing Alex, and I started feeling guilty because of what had happened to him. He's in the hospital right now, and I virtually, nothing really had happened to me. I just remember thinking, why did it happen to him and not me?
Then he opened his eyes. I'll never forget that look as long as I live. It was a horrible, distant, empty look.
Alex Bayless spent 4 weeks in the hospital recovering and 2 months in physical and occupational therapy. His sister, Bobby Jo, was often at his side.
He did have to learn to do a lot of things that he already knew how to do previously over again. But he did it.
In the years since the accident, Alex graduated from high school a member of the National Honor Society. But his rehabilitation has been difficult.
I remember one time they had me take a test for cognitive retraining, and I couldn't do it. And I called my father from the hospital, and I was crying to him on the phone because I couldn't do it. And I'd tell him, I'd say, I can remember I used to be able to do this.
Every once in a while you can see when you're talking to him that he's struggling to remember things. But he really worked hard to get where he is today. I'm so proud of that kid. I'm so proud of Alex that I can't even describe how proud I am of him.
I couldn't do nothing about it.
Well, after the accident happened, we became really close. Started sharing each other's feelings more and more. It's just the whole accident that changed the way I thought about life. Anything can happen. You could be having fun one time and it's snap in a second, and there it is.
Everything that happened from the point of the accident forward has been good. From the moment that Eric turned Alex over on his back and saved him from drowning. And it's been good. And we thank everybody for it.
Can you shoot your granny shot?
Unfortunately, we had to be shown the hard way what a helmet could have done. If you're going to be riding a personal watercraft, you should wear a helmet.
Those things are dangerous. They're not just toys out there. People can get hurt on them, even killed. And I'd like people to know that.
They might draft me on the Raiders.
He's my only brother, but he's still an ornery little turd. The accident did bring us closer. I love my brother a lot. And I'm so glad he's alive. We all are.
Next.
This suspect had a total disregard for his life and for the life of the officers involved.
On the night of December 2nd, 1989, in San Angelo, Texas, 10-year police veteran Sergeant Roe Wallace was making the rounds on his usual beat. At an all-night convenience store nearby, Clerk Elsie Buttry was working alone.
As a patrol officer on the night shift is where I first met Elsie. But I also knew her because her son was coming up through the scouting ranks about the time I was a den master. She's a real jovial type person, which made it kind of a pleasure to go in and just visit with her occasionally. Well, if a woman is working in these stores at night by herself, in some instances it works against the woman.
What can I get for you this morning?
This is a holdup. Give me all your money.
I'm not gonna put up with that this morning.
Hey.
At 5:54 a.m., a call for help came into the San Angelo police.
911 emergency, may I help you? This is Elsie. Today is on 20 the Bryant Freeway. I've just been robbed at gunpoint. Okay, did you get a description? Hold, just stay on the line with me. 1031 robbery just occurred with a 1032 at 20 in Bryant. Today's convenience store.
As officers headed to the scene, dispatcher Joanne Tobias tried to get more information from Elsie.
Did you get a description? Has an earring in his left ear, baseball cap, sweatshirt, jeans, tennis shoes. Baseball cap, sweatshirt, blue sweatshirt.
I could feel my heart beating at the same time I was talking to her. At that time, I thought, I have to calm down, because if I let her know that I'm excited, she wasn't going to be able to give me the information.
You got your doors locked? No, he told me not to move, that he'd be watching me and shoot me through the windows. Okay, can you sit down somewhere? I'm down behind the cabinets where he can't see me. Okay, stay on the line with me. And your name is what? Elsie Buttrey. Okay, it's okay. Did he hurt? He shot at the floor, and it's kind of bounced up on my leg, but I'm all right. The shotgun shells are still on the floor. Okay, he did shoot. 3 times. Shots fired, he did shoot. That subject, 1031 robbery. He does have a handgun. Shots were fired. Last seen on 21 foot towards Glenna.
One of the nearest officers to the scene was Roe Wallace.
But when I heard that shots had been fired, and of course knowing Elsie and her son, it kind of struck home. It kind of hit. It was almost like a member of your family.
My ears are ringing. Okay. I need to lock the door. There's somebody here. Okay, go ahead and leave the phone off the hook and go lock the door.
And she's the only one in that store. She's the only one in that area. And that guy's out there watching her.
Okay, you there? Hello?
You feel helpless at that point. It's hard. It's really hard. You block everything else out because you want to get everything you can from that person to save their life or save someone else's life.
Within 2 minutes of the call, the first squad cars arrived.
Roe is here now. Roe is there? Okay, well, you just talk to Roe, okay, Elsie? Okay, thank you. Okay. Bye. Bye-bye.
When I saw Roe, it was great relief. It was like the cavalry coming over the top of the hill.
Yeah, what happened?
Oh, he shot at me, Roe.
She was really, really upset.
It's okay.
It really kind of hurt me to know that she'd been through that.
Officer Bill Mabe immediately began searching for the suspect.
As I came around behind the convenience store to check the area, I noticed that there was a pickup parked there. When I heard that shots had been fired in the store, you know there's an additional threat there, that this person is willing to use the gun that they're carrying. It appeared to have been there all night because all the windows had a very heavy dew over them. We had had a very heavy dew that night.
Two other patrol officers were sent to help with the search.
Officer Mabe, he's the type of officer that if there's something that needs to be done, he was the type guy that would just go out there and do what needed to be done.
We'll be checking a vehicle. It'll be a Digitech on 29.
I observed this car parked in the parking lot of a business that had closed approximately a month prior to this incident. All the windows on the car were clean. Any vehicle that would have been parked out overnight, the windows would have been covered with dew.
Police! Police!
believe it's North Van Buren.
Officer Bob Frazier was on routine patrol a few miles away.
Several other units announced that they were joining the chase. I advised dispatch that I was eastbound on Glenna, and I was going directly toward the chase.
131 headquarters were now on Glenna by the Southbound complex.
I believe they were traveling approximately 75, 80 miles an hour, so they was closing the gap between us pretty quickly. I pulled my unit across the road to set up a roadblock. When they were maybe 200 yards from me, it appeared to me that the suspect wasn't going to stop.
This suspect had a total disregard for his life and for the life of the officers involved. The lead police vehicle experienced some minor car trouble, and he began slowing down. But the suspect was getting away at that point. I pulled out and passed the two patrol cars in front of him and took up the lead position.
White, 80s model, Oldsmobile.
373, Mary John Edward.
Officer Maid pulled directly in behind his vehicle.
Police! Police! Put the gun down! Put it down! Put the gun down!
Maid was probably in the most danger because he was in direct line of fire to the suspect.
Put the gun down now!
The suspect began pointing one hand at Maid, and then he was pointing back to himself, pointing at his chest.
Put the gun down now!
10-4, shots fired logged.
The scariest moment to me was when the officer yelled shots fired. I didn't know who had been hit, who was down.
131 headquarters for an ambulance.
This was the first time that I had ever shot anyone.
Officer Mabe had fired 3 times, hitting the suspect once.
Somebody go around over there.
When I saw the blood on the back of the car, you just get a real sinking feeling. And you know that you've shot another person. And it's something that you try to prepare yourself for, but you never know that you're going to be able to do it until the time comes down.
I said, Bill, you did what you had to do. The man made up your mind for you. You didn't make that decision, he did.
The suspect subsequently recovered from the shooting. He was convicted of aggravated robbery and sentenced to 40 years in prison.
This is a nice reel.
A year and a half later, Elsie Buttery is still haunted by memories of that night.
I still see his face. And I have to keep a light on at night when I sleep. I cannot sleep in a dark house. And I still hear that gun go off.
I like helping people. I felt like, yeah, I helped out in doing something. Something was accomplished here, you know, and it made me feel good.
Joanne was great on that 911 line. She was real calm. She helped me to stay calm.
You get a type of relationship between dispatchers and officers. It's like family, and you feel responsible for that person.
I was real impressed with every officer that responded on that call. It just kind of made the bond just a little more stronger.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. It's a feeling of relief that you got to go home that day, and he did. And you're proud of yourself for doing a good job. I know I did the best job I could.
That's 33.
Mr. Shapiro, step out of the car, please.